Okay, let's be real. You see a weird spot on your wall and your mind immediately jumps to the worst case scenario, right? But what if I told you the most important question isn't what is that thing, but actually, why is it there? That's what we're going to dig into.
And this quote really just nails it. Microbes are, well, they're everywhere. It's a totally normal, unavoidable part of life. The problem isn't that they exist. The problem starts when the conditions in your building get out of whack and let some of the less desirable ones, take over and start to dominate.
So, that spot on your wall, you got to stop thinking of it as just a spot. Think of it like a clue. It's a signal that's trying to tell you a story about what's really going on inside your building. And our job is to learn how to read that signal. All right, so if we're going to solve this little mystery, we have to start asking the right questions. And that means a complete mental shift. We've got to stop focusing on the what and start laser focusing on the why.
Okay, I love this because it perfectly shows the two paths you can take. On one side, you have the panic approach. This is probably familiar, right? What species is that? Is it toxic? How do I kill it? It's all about fear. But then look at the other side, the investigator approach. The questions are so different, so much more powerful. Why is this here? Is there extra moisture somewhere? What are the conditions like right in this spot? See the difference? It's about curiosity, not panic.
And that brings us to the real culprit in this whole story. It's almost always about moisture. That spot you're seeing isn't just a microbe problem. It's a giant, flashing neon sign pointing directly to a water source that's feeding it. That moisture, that's the real red flag you need to be looking for. So, how do you actually do this? How do you become that moisture detective? Well, it's easier than you think. We've got a simple checklist that's going to help you switch from being a worried homeowner to a super savvy investigator. Think of this as your 4-step game plan. First up, get in close and look at the surface and texture. Is it flat like a stain, or does it have some dimension? Is it fuzzy, maybe a little slimy? Next, step 2 is all about moisture. Literally, check it. Is the area damp? And here's the crucial part. Does it stay damp? Then, step 3, consider the material it's on. I mean, a spot on porous drywall is telling you a very different story than a spot on some sealed tile in your shower. And finally, step 4, zoom out. What's the bigger picture? What's the environmental context? Is the humidity high? Is there good ventilation in this room? It all matters. And it's really important to remember that not every weird spot is actually mold growth. It could just be a simple stain from something that spilled. Or it could be something called efflorescence, which is a super fancy word for those crusty white salt deposits you see on brick or concrete when water dries up. But here's the absolute key indicator. Has it changed? Has it grown over time? Because a stain doesn't grow. If it's growing, it's alive. Okay, so you've done your detective work, you've gone through the checklist, and gathered all your clues. Now comes the fun part, putting it all together and figuring out what it all means. And this table just lays it out so clearly. Let's say you find some normal background discoloration. It cleans up easy. No big deal. That probably means there's no active moisture problem. You just monitor it, make sure the ventilation is good. But if you find that abnormal active growth we talked about, well, that's a different story. That means there's a persistent source of moisture somewhere. And your next step isn't just to clean the spot, it's to find and fix the water source. Now, this is something you absolutely have to understand. A visual check is an incredibly powerful tool, but only for its intended purpose. It is fantastic, like 70% effective at telling you that you likely have a moisture problem. It's also pretty decent at confirming you're looking at abnormal growth. But look at that tiny slice of the pie for identifying the exact species or its toxicity. It's almost useless for that. You need a lab for that, and honestly, you often don't even need to go that far if you just focus on the root cause. So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's simple. Your visual check, your eyes. They're not for playing name that microbe. They're for playing find that moisture. And focusing on that is the absolute key to finding a real, permanent solution.
All right, let's bring it all home. If there's one single idea you walk away with today, this is it. This is the thing that should completely change how you look at these situations.
This quote right here says it all, doesn't it? It's not what's present, it's why it's thriving. The real power isn't in knowing the fancy Latin name for whatever's on your wall. The power is in understanding the conditions that are letting it thrive in the first place, because those are the things you can actually control and change.
So, from now on, the next time you see one of those mysterious spots, I want you to stop yourself. Don't let your first question be, what is that? Make your first question, why is it here? Because asking that one simple question, well, that's the first real step to taking back control.